All right. Hi, everybody. It's Juanita from EurWayTours. Yes, today we're going to talk about travel apps. My, oh my, just to make life a little bit easier. But I want to thank everybody who is here helping us out, listening in. I'm looking at the board. Oh, gosh, it's wonderful. I've got Apollo Beach out here, Springfield, Virginia, Reston, Seattle, Pensacola, California, Denver. Okay. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming to my Travel Talk Tuesday. Today, pretty much, we're going to go through just a couple of things to make life a little bit easier. So when you think about traveling, you know, here I'm looking like I'm sitting up in first class, just enjoying my time. Okay, and that's what it's all about. Make life a little bit easier. So some of the apps that we're going to talk about, they may not be something you're used to, may not be something you need to use in the future. We don't get paid for any of these. And these are just some of the ones that I've used, or other people have told me these are some of the ones that they thought were very important. And so whether or not you have a regular phone, whether it's a Apple, or if it's a Android. And so let me see. Oh, okay, here we go. So whether you have an Android phone, it will depend on how you get these apps. So these apps are like little programs that they're usually either on your computer or on the internet, but to make it easier, a lot of these apps are on your telephone. And so, for example, if you've got an Android phone, you can then download those in an area like called the Play Store, okay? And hopefully you can see some of those. But it all depends. So if you have a Samsung or something, this is a Redmi. It's a Chinese phone, but it's half the price of that Samsung. And so mine still has like a Play Store, and that's where you would find these apps. So when I give you the titles of some of the apps, that's exactly what you type when you go in there to the App Store, or when you go to your Apple. Let's see, in your Apple, it looks like a big A is what that App Store looks like. And that's where you would search for the name of those apps to download them. And so, for example, when you're going to the App Store, you know, at the very, very bottom, it's got like a search. Try to get rid of that. Oh, there's still a glare. You go to the search, and there you can just type in then what's the name of the app that you'd like to download. So depending on which one of the phones you're using, whether you're using an Android or an Apple, these apps usually have versions for both. So that's what makes it a little easier. Some of them you can get down onto your computer, but you really need to kind of have them on your phone so that you can work with those kinds of things. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start some of my PowerPoint and show you some of the apps that I've used, that you can use. And a lot of times you may just use them once, you may use them a lot of times. But at the end, I want you to share some type of an app that you didn't see here or here that we can share with other folks. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and show you some of the apps that we would suggest. So let me know if you see the screen. Okay. All right, I think, let's see. Okay, so here are our travel apps for you today. And again, my name is Juanita Harvin. I'm the owner and CEO of EurWay EurWayTours. And the travel apps today, again, we are not being paid for any of this. So of course, the travel apps you want to use because you want to stay organized before and after travel. And so some of these are really important for most reasons because you can centralize your information. So, and that information then travels with you, so you stay organized on that telephone. It confirms items, you know, if there's last minute changes for documents or emails that the hotels might have sent you, your reservations have changed. It's always great to have them. And again, these are smartphones, all right? And it's to help you save time. If you have an itinerary change, you'll notice that a lot of some of these apps that you can use, TripIt, Google, they'll track you and see where you're at to make sure if there's any itinerary changes, your flight, your hotel, or reservation, it'll let you know whether it's by an email or if it does it with a text message, which are so good nowadays. Woo. And of course, it's what we call real time. Gosh, can you remember when we used to travel and we would be even on the road somewhere and we'd have to stop and look for a phone booth and call ahead. Hey, our ETA is so, we're this far out. So that was one of those things we used to sit there and say, oh my gosh, how did we do it without smartphones? But it's a real-time update for any time you've got a change or a cancellation. And, you know, if there's a hotel fire or something drastic happens and you got to go somewhere else, you got to be ready to make that change. That's happened to us once. And we just stopped on the side of the road. I got my little app out and got us a new hotel. With your offline accessibility, be sure some of these apps only work if you're online. So sometimes look and see, are some of these great to work with if you don't have Wi-Fi or if you don't have an account with your telephone to stay online. So sometimes if you're not online or on Wi-Fi, the app really doesn't help you. So be aware of the online, offline accessibility. And of course, you know, your apps are there to make suggestions and recommendations. So just be aware if somebody wants you to pay for them. There are lots of free apps out there. You don't always have to pay for them. All right. So we're going to go in some of the travel categories. So we'll go down some of the before the trip, during the trip, after the trip, and whether it's a hotel or restaurant or airline or just comfort items that'll help you with your travels. So before the trip, I always tell people the first thing you should do, download the mobile passport. Do some of these apps, yeah, you think you'll get them when you get there and then the Wi-Fi is not great. Download all your apps before you leave. So whether it's TripIt to plan your itinerary, Flightboard that lets you see where your planes are at, you know, with all of these weather storms and things, at least you'll get an idea of what happened to your plane. Where is it really at? If there's nobody at the airport talking to you. FlightAware also tells where the planes are at, real time and historical tracking. And then of course, Seat Guru, if you're not sure about where my seat is or where can I get a seat, those are great apps to have before you leave. But the reason I like the mobile passport, for those of you that haven't purchased Global Entry or Clear, or is it Clear It? Those are anywhere from $80 to $100+ to get you back into the United States and through customs quickly. Well, mobile passport I really like because you can get that for free. They let you use it, I think the first or second time they'll let you use it for free. After that, it's only $14.95 a year. So it made life easier because when you're coming back into the United States, I know you've seen these huge long custom lines and you don't want to be in one of those. So if you've got Global Entry, Clear, or mobile passport, there's very short lines. And what that mobile passport does, it's almost like when you used to fill out the little form, you know, are you bringing in extra money? Did you have any dairy? Were you on a farm? Were you near anybody sick or any? it's like that, filling out that long little form ahead of time. You submit it. And once you land, once your plane lands, you turn on mobile passport, and you should have already scanned your passport picture, because that's how it activates. And so you really need to go ahead and activate that item for it to go. I see Joyce has her hand raised. Go ahead and ask.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Juanita, is that the one that you do just before landing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just before
Once
landing.
you activate it, it's good for 3 hours.
Okay. 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 Right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I mean, you can
Yes.
do it. You can do it while you're still on the airplane.
And you can still do it while
Just
you're on the
before
airplane.
landing. Yeah, before landing. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Oh, thanks for asking. And once you land and you activate that thing and tell it, oh, I'm at, and it's only good for about 15 airports in the US, not every airport, but the major ones. But yeah, once you land, it'll ask you, what airport are you at? And then it'll say, okay, I got you checked in for 3 hours. So that means you can get through that line, go to the bathroom, get ready and get through. All right. So again, these are some of the things before to get you ready for that trip. Oh. All right. And then what we have here is your list to get you going for packing. Okay. So when we're talking about packing, ooh, what? Packer is a to-do list, and you kind of tell it where you're going to, and it'll give you a suggested list of items to pack. If you're going to a foreign country, be sure get that Google Translate, because that will be great for you. Google Translate will help you, translate some of their languages and things. There are other translators such as DeepL Translator. It's just a little bit better than Google. Triplingo, it will translate your speech. So you can say something into the app and it'll say it out in that language. But I think Triplingo and Boostlingo, they sometimes want money later on. But those are the ones you can talk into, and it'll kind of give you what you should be saying back. Or you can show it to them on your app. You don't have to say it. You can show it on the app and say, oh, this is what I'm trying to say. When you're going to a foreign language, you're always trying to figure out, oh, what's the dollar worth? What are we talking about here? And so one of the best apps is that XE currency converter. And I love that one. You can have it go either way. You type in, oh, what's the dollar in euro? What's the dollar in any of the other, French, this or that, a pound. It'll tell you what the worth is of a dollar or the other way around, so that you can compare and know what you're spending on. When you're out and about, of course, some of the biggest apps that we pretty much use are going to be with your airlines and your hotels. So the reason you want to make sure you have your favorite hotel apps on your telephone is not just to track your free points, but also to track things such as the extras that they'll give you. So some of the Marriott folks, they'll give you free shuttle rides. So instead of you having to pay for a shuttle going back from the airport to the hotel, the app will show you that, oh, we have a free shuttle here, sign up for it. IHG, the Holiday Inn folks, they have lots of freebie things there. And then the Ritz, Carlton, any of the out of the way, Accor, the Pullman, the Accor folks in Europe, oh, they have lots of extras on their apps. But your hotel app is mainly to check in and look for your room as well. So what I thought was, I thought the neatest thing was, yeah, you can check in before you get there. So you don't, if there's a long line at the check-in, we just did this last weekend at the IHG. We checked in while we got off the plane. And when we got there, they had our little bracelet keys ready to go. So all kinds of good things.
Juanita.
Yes.
I just have to say this. On the iPhone, I have iTranslate, and it saved me when I was in the hospital in Venice. I used it to communicate with the doctors and the nurses.
Oh, Yvonne, that's you, right? Is it Yvonne back there? Yvonne,
Yes.
is that the Apple version?
Yes.
iTranslate. Okay. See, oh, and Yvonne, see, there's a testimonial there, because it's a little different when you're in trouble and you're in a different country trying to figure it out.
Amen.
Mhm. Well, and we're so glad to hear and see you today. What one of our stories of how you can turn a tragedy of a travel trip into, we're going to work this out and we're going to get back home. Thank you for sharing, Yvonne. Hey,
Okay.
And that's what you call a true testimony right there.
it is, because I think, Yvonne, didn't your husband also have to use the airline app because he realized they were medevacing you, but not him?
I don't know all what he did everything. So.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter which one of the airlines that you use, but many of the airlines, Delta, American, United, Southwest, even the ones overseas, will have their own app. And I can attest to this because I was stuck in that delay of things yesterday, trying to get home in between storms. I show up at Phoenix Airport. There's no plane because of the storms. It hasn't made it. 3-hour delay. Oh, yep. That means my connection, I'm going to miss it. And I knew the minute that I got to Atlanta, oh my goodness, I saw the line of people standing there trying to get new flights or trying to change flights. So I went into action right away on the plane. I got my Delta app out. And for some of you, I don't know if you keep your apps in a folder, because sometimes your phone can get really, really busy. So make sure you put all your apps into a folder. So I have some of mine that are in a travel folder, a restaurant folder, a hotel folder, so that they're all kind of together. I can find them. But once I got in there and I used my Delta app, I got more information about my flight and was able to get my flight changed with the messenger. And so I was just amazed, because this is the second time that's happened to me. And so while I'm getting ready to move things, and of course you get free Wi-Fi on the Delta plane when you're on the plane, so you can still be working on that app and working things. And I was messaging that little messenger, which was a robot, telling it, hey, I'm gonna miss my flight. They put me on another flight, but my earlier flight is there. Can you change it? And that messenger app worked great. It gave me the gate change, how much longer my delay was going to be. So that was really a good thing that I really I was so thankful for. But I know most of the major airlines have those travel apps for their airline specifically, where you can be in contact. And then when you get into the airport and you see those long lines of people standing there waiting to talk to somebody because they want it visually, they don't sometimes trust the computers. It saved a lot of time. It also made me disappointed, because I'm thinking, oh, I got a layover. I can go sit in the lounge and relax. Oh my goodness. And then it said on the app, this lounge is busy. This lounge is busy. This lounge, no, you're not going to get in there. Wait time. I thought, oh my gosh, there's thousands of people at the airport thinking the same thing I did. Oh, let's go to the lounge. But too many people were on the wait list just to get into some of the lounges, which it told us ahead of time, or you could have went to another terminal in that airport. So when you're talking about keeping track of that flight too, some of you may use Hopper or Skyscanner. Those will keep track of where your flights are and what they're doing. And again, for the hotel apps, when you're getting that hotel, sometimes they'll let you check in or check out with that app on your telephone. You can make special requests before you get there. So if you need a pillow or something, and here's what I just saw on one of the other apps, your telephone, if you had their phone app for their hotel, it opened up your door. You didn't even have to go to the front desk. They told you what room and what door, and you just go over there and use your app and put it up on and it acted just like the key. So the cell phone was like your app, that it went and opened up the door instead of having a door key. We also discovered this weekend, we had IHG put out some of these new key cards, and all it was is a little, said the name of the hotel and with a little band so you could wear it, and it opened up the hotel room just like if it was a regular, credit card size key. On those apps, sometimes they'll put specials like spa reservations or dinner reservations, and sometimes they'll give you some monies off or points if you make your reservation through the dinner app or the spa app for that hotel. Now, some of the apps that I also use, many of you here in the United States are used to Uber and Lyft, and those work wonderfully here. But if you're going out of country, over into Europe or any of the other foreign lands, some of those continents do not have Uber or Lyft. And so the first thing you sit there and say, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Oh, yeah, I guess I have to depend on a taxi. And sometimes certain taxi systems are wonderful. Germany, Europe has great taxi system. They're trying to stay away from doing the Lyft or Uber. Uber is just starting up a little bit in Germany, but in many countries, it's not there. So one of the great companies I found with the app is called 𝒕𝒊𝒎𝒆, and they work around the world. So I thought, oh, this is, and used them a couple of times, and you can tell them, oh, I need someone who speaks English. I need enough room for this many people, this many suitcases. Oh, and can my ride have Wi-Fi in it? Because I'm going to need that. So you can specify on the 𝒕𝒊𝒆 what you would like. And now, if all of that is too much, that's what they make me for. I'm a travel agent. I do those things, and I can set the 𝒕𝒊𝒆 up for you. So all you do is say, oh, I'm leaving this day and this day. And if I have your itinerary with your flight, I get that to that 𝒕𝒊𝒆 person. They keep track of your flight. So when you're late, they know when to be there and not to overcharge you because they've been waiting. So those are some of the wonderful apps that you can use for that. Restaurants, wow. Many of you probably use TripAdvisor, Yelp. There's one called Eat With, and that one is like eating with the locals. This is where some of the locals will eat at. Table Plan, Open Plan, you can make reservations at different restaurants. TripSavvy will also get you to a restaurant and give you advice on what type of food and where you would like to go. And I like some of the Yelp and TripAdvisors. I read those reviews, okay? But check on the dates, and then check how many other people are saying some of those things. Don't just take it for one of the reviews. When we've got travel help for our apps or packing or maps, sometimes the geography lesson isn't bad. And so we do enjoy being able to know where we're going. When we are out and about, City Mapper is a great way to know where you're going. I like Waze. Even though, here in the United States, we use Waze a lot just for traveling with a car, but it'll tell you where the accidents are, if there's road closures, detours, if there's traffic, if there are police in the area, but I like in Waze too. So if you want to estimate if you've got to walk to a location or if you've got to drive, you can choose for Waze to tell you how long it'll take if you're going to walk, and it'll give you the route. And so you can use it pretty much like a travel guide. So if you don't have a guide with you, it'll act as your guide and get you to the location because it's live. It's right at time. If you're looking, so for example, if you're traveling somewhere, you got a big long layover And if you're looking to put your suitcases or your backpack someplace, Stasher, that app helps you plan and find where they have a locker we can lock it up. You know, at the train station, there are lockers for you to lock up. At the airport, sometimes there are lockers. But because of 9/11, many of those things do not exist anymore. Those aren't near the major train station because of safety and security. But Stasher will tell you where the closest locations are where you can rent a locker to keep your things and then go and tour for a couple of hours instead of just sitting in the airport waiting for your plane. Yes, City Mapper gives you the maps of cities. And oh, I love Maps.me because it helps you get around and helps you find where the Wi-Fi is. And it downloads, especially when you don't have Wi-Fi. So it works afterward, you know, it works if you don't have Wi-Fi or internet. So that's really a good thing. So you kind of let it know where you're going from where to where, but it'll work even when there's no Wi-Fi. For those of you that like to read, keep up to date with things, you know, I know many of the newspapers have their own apps. Television, you know, if you got to watch TV, Netflix, Hulu, they all have their apps. And those are all easy to get. And you probably already have those. If you're a reader, you've got Kindle. And if you're going on a cruise, I'm quite sure you've got the cruise app for that, whether it's Carnival or whether it is the Royal Caribbean, the Norwegian, any of the cruise companies, they have their apps because they're going to keep track of those things when you're coming on the ship, what time dinner is, and some of your excursions that you might have booked for, because many of these apps, they will text you back, you know, reminders where to be, when to be. So that's a good one. If you still don't know what to pack, Pack Point is a wonderful app to help you pack your suitcase, to get it organized. You know, there's always those controversies, you know, do I fold up my things or do I roll them up? And I still swear up and down, Chico's, the traveler portion of I love their little traveler clothes. You roll them up or they don't get wrinkled, and you can travel real easy in those. Oh, all right. And then we've got going on tours. So if you're going on tours or you want to make sure people know where you're at, emergency contact, Viator is one of our biggest tour things that we really enjoy. Viator you can type in the name of the country, the name of the city. You can get daily tours, airport shuttles. So if you know they don't have Uber or Lyft or anything like that, you can get shuttle rides from Viator that has different companies, from cars to buses, and they have all the tickets to everywhere in the world for any hop-on, hop-off bus. And you can get privatized tours there as well. You can book these up to 24 hours ahead and cancel within 24 hours before the trip. So Viator is one of the big ones. I send that link out to all of my folks that I work with, my clients, so that if there's an excursion at the last minute, they want to get something or want to try something, they have free time. Viator is one of the big ones that has lots of those tours. Romeo to Rio, that app tells you about your destination. So you get all the figures and all the facts there. Oh, and besides Viator, yep, Get Your Guide. That's another one. It's kind of like your own personal guide, and it'll help you get to the tours or help you with some of the instructions on getting the tours and the audio info. When you are out and about, always, always, always check where our U.S. embassy is at, or where that country foreign embassy is. Wherever you're going, find out the closest consulate or embassy, because you really want to make sure. I know everybody probably has a State Department because they send out info to you. They'll text it to you if there's a coup somewhere, or if another volcano erupts and that disrupts travel. Statedepartment.gov, they have all of that, and there's an app for it that gives you big info. But go to any of your foreign embassies. So if you're going to India, if you're going to Cambodia, if you're going to Japan, find out where those embassies are and where the American consulate or embassy is in those countries. Travel Safe is an app that helps you with emergency numbers in the area where you're traveling to. So that's kind of neat also. When you are, oh gosh, when you're traveling, what's the worst thing that could happen if you lose that phone? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Make sure you've turned on Find Your Apple iPhone. Make sure you've got that, okay? Or I found out the other day, my Fitbit, there is an app, Find My Fitbit. Oh gosh, because I don't know where I had it. It was charging that I thought, and so those apps are all there too. So make sure you make that the Find My iPhone or Find My Phone app is on, because sometimes you don't have it on. You'll have to actually turn it on. If you're traveling with a large group, oh, that can be the hardest thing. And so as a travel agent, if I have a large group, I have all of their info, their emergency contacts, their passport numbers, where they're going, who they're going with, the dates of birth. And so if something happens, they can call me, text me, email me. I can make sure if somebody lost their passport, or I've got all that, I've got a picture of the passport, I can get you to the next consulate so that it'll make life a little bit easier. But there's something called a ward wallet where you can do that on your own, and it keeps your family's info all together. So if all of you got frequent flyer numbers, oh my gosh, keeping all of those there. TSA pre, ooh, what's your TSA pre number? That's not something you're going to memorize, and having everybody's passport number. That's another thing that, we just take for granted. But if that passport disappears, you got to have some way to be able to get back to it. Priority Pass is one of those apps that'll let you know where some of the lounges are and how to get in to those lounges. It may not be an airline lounge at a particular airport that you're at. So sometimes you've got to figure out, oh, where can I go and where can I rest? If you've got anywhere from, 3 or more hours to be somewhere and sit there and wait for the next plane, it's always great to sometimes just get into the lounge for a low fee. And sometimes with your points, you've already got access to the travel lounge of your favorite airline. I have to laugh, but if you look at the picture of the toilet roll there, woo-hoo! Oh yes, when you get older, there's different things that are priority to you. And so right now, I realize, oh, we need to know where is the closest WC. Yep, a lot of people didn't know. What's a WC? Water closet, okay? You need to find the closest public toilet, or we call it a toilet finder. There are several apps out there. One of them is Flush. And Flush is one of the more popular ones. You'll see that little green green square with the toilet paper roll in the middle, and that's Flush. And Flush will let you know, it'll look where you're at, almost like a GPS, let you know where the closest public toilet is. They'll also Sit or Squat is another one. It'll let you know even where some of those enclosed bathrooms are. Those are starting to pop up here in America. They're very popular in Europe, where it's just a one-person stall, but it looks like it's in this huge round tubular building, and very safe and secure. But it's another one of those apps called Bathroom Finder that will find those, or a public bathroom. Now, keep in mind when you're traveling overseas, it's probably going to cost you. Some of it's on your own integrity, because they'll put a little bowl there and they'll ask for 50 cents because the bathrooms are very clean or whatever. Sometimes there's a little lady sitting there looking for you to put your little 50 cents or euro in there. And some of the toilet facilities in Europe, you actually need to put the money in to get a little ticket to go through, but they give you that little ticket. 50% of your cost of getting in, you can use to purchase coffee or something upstairs at the facility where you stopped at. But one of my more popular ones that people have asked for is the Flush app. If you're traveling by train and when you're going through different countries, it can be mind-boggling. Now, lots of us are used to the German trains, the Deutsche Bahn. Their train app is D-Bahn or DB. They've got two of them, but it goes to the same thing. So Deutsche Bahn, they will have security things. So if you purchase your ticket, it will be on your app on your phone. And so that's really nice when you've got that on there. And the Deutsche Bahn does a lot of their extras. You can order coffee and they'll come to your train car. They'll let you know when your train is coming. And so when you've got that kind of stuff, it's really nice. And so the SSB are their streetcars in Germany. VVS is another one. Sometimes they're local. So VVS is up in the Hessen area. SSB is in the Bavaria area. You know, so streetcars, buses, they're combined on some of those apps. And so that's always nice to also have those available to you. When you are traveling by train, you'll see some of the signs. The signage sometimes is in English. You know, S for streetcar. You know, U for U-Bahn means underground. But sometimes, you know, it's when you read some of the things, it'll explain it, and on your app, it'll be in your language. So it'll be in English. And so that's the nice part. When they are looking for security on your app as well, be aware that many of the companies overseas are now looking and checking either on their app or your ticket when you print it out, who purchased that ticket, and do you have the credit card with you that made the purchase to the ticket. So be aware, many of them are using that as like a verification. Is that you making that purchase, or did somebody else make that purchase? And trafficking, it's also put in there due to some of the trafficking issues. Now, you can get a EurRail pass, which app for that is also useful. You usually want to purchase any of your EurRail passes before you go to that country. EurRail passes are usually only good if you purchase them from the United States or outside of the countries you're going to. EurRail means that pass will go all over Europe. You can buy it for 2 weeks. You could buy it for a month or 3 months. So you can buy it for different lengths of time. EurRail is the same thing, but EurRail app is for Europeans that live overseas, because for the EurRail app, you have to have a European address. Trainline is another one that's getting very popular lately, and it goes across different borders. And when I talk about using the apps look pretty and everything, and you get on the train and you say, oh my goodness, the train ride in Germany is different than the train ride in Italy, or the train ride through France. So every country, even though they crisscross with the trains across the borders, the train toiletries are not always the same, the hospitality, the availability of an eating car. And if you can, reserve a seat. The trains are getting so full. So that app will help you reserve your seat. You can tell it by a table, by a window. And now you can also see the seating of that train car, the number of the train car, and where you can keep your luggage while you're on the train. In the olden days, your luggage was way down at one end and you might be sitting over at the other end. So this way it was really nice so that you could see on that app where the seating was, and where you could store your luggage. So train apps, those are wonderful. And these two, I just love it. We always say some of us are more seasoned travelers. We've been to these places, we go back 2-3 times, or we know somebody there. But we find that, those hidden off little areas in the back alleys. Yeah, I know sometimes they say they're not safe, but I like seeing where the locals eat, where they shop, and what they're doing. So here with locals or like a local, those are apps. In some countries they work, not everywhere, but in the countries that they work, they give you some suggestions of the most popular places where their local people hang out at and where they eat or get items. Now, keep in mind, it also lets you know when those local holidays are, because that could mess you up totally. A local holiday could put you at an array. So when you have these apps, if nothing else, it's supposed to help you relax. When you're going to some of those hotels and you want to get that wellness, make sure to get the app. Don't wait to get there to schedule your wellness. Do it ahead of time. If you have allergies, if there's something you're allergic to or something you don't like to eat, you can put those in those apps before you get to the hotel, right? And then if you need extra help, if you need a handicap accessible room, if you need to make sure you have a walk-in shower, all of those apps, those are things that you can place in there as well. Nowadays it's, I think even the airlines with their app, it's not just checking in there, oh, I need a wheelchair. It'll say, can you travel from one gate to the other? Or do you need us to take you all the way in the plane? Or do we need to go and, get you all the way to the customs area, et cetera, et cetera. But just make sure, use those apps in your advantage. Lots of these extras do not cost. Yes, you can tip the folks. Please tip the folks that are taking care of you. Any of those folks that are assisting you. And I almost forgot the app about tipping. They're different in every country, but there are tipping apps. I love one of the and I don't think it's an app, but it's a website. In our state, if you're traveling in the USA and you don't know what to do, where to go, in our state or only in Florida or only in Georgia, it will give you all kinds of places to go, where to get the apps, where to get the coupons for the apps, because yeah, in America, we do lots of coupons. And so those are the nice things that sometimes that app does. It's not just to help you make your travel easier, but it's also there to help you relax and enjoy your trip. And when I'm out there with folks, I take care of them during their travels. But if I'm not with them, I want to make sure they get the best care, that they get to experience everything possible where they're going, so that they get on those little tiny tours or get to see those special museums, and make sure that they have it right on their phone. And if there's an issue nationally, internationally, that WhatsApp app is the best thing. If you've got Wi-Fi, WhatsApp is great because it can make international calls. Don't spend a lot of money upgrading your telephone. They want to, somebody wants to sell you, oh, for $50, for 2 weeks, or for $5 a day, which isn't bad. You'll upgrade your phone and you can have more messages, or you can do phone calls and things. Well, if you have Wi-Fi, which every hotel usually does, use WhatsApp. That is, you can use that even while you're home or while you're traveling. And that way you can call your hotel and talk to them directly. You can call your friends internationally. So WhatsApp is really one of those that's useful for me, I use it even before and after travel and while I'm just hanging around at home. So thank you for listening to some of the things. I'm going to turn off the slideshow right here, but anytime you need me, you can reach me. I'm always ready to go. Y'all know I do spring and fall trips to Europe, but I do enjoy being out there. But if I'm not there with you, well, then I want to make sure that you guys have accessible to things, and I don't mind sharing things. So I'll send you cheat sheets and all kinds of good things that you could use for any of your travels. So I'll open it up right now. So if there's anybody that would like to ask a question, or you can also put the question into the chat and we can answer any of those for you.
Juanita, I had a question about the mobile passport app. Should we go ahead and download it now and go ahead and put in our information? I had started it already, but I just haven't finished yet. So, okay.
Yes, because the part that's going to slow you down is, you're going to get nervous. You're trying to get off the airplane. If you have to take a really good picture of your passport picture, in the airplane, it might not be ideal situations. So download that app ahead of time. And if nothing else, just get the passport picture in so it has you in the app. Mobile passport is listed in several different ways. It may be MPC. I think that's the new logo for it. You may still see the little man with the passport and it says mobile passport. I think a new company purchased it, Airside. And so MPC, I think, is the new word for that mobile passport. But look for it depending on your whether you're using the iPhone or whether you're using the Android.
Okay.
Yeah. Juanita, this is Joyce. And that MPC, the mobile passport, that works for both phones. I do know that.
Oh, see?
Yep,
Wonderful.
that will work for both phones. And that's the one that, just before you land, because you've already put your passport stuff in just before you land, and it truly works. So if you don't have the global and all that, trust me, the MPC truly works. The other thing I want to mention is, I know a lot of people are very skeptical about WhatsApp these days and things like that, but there are MiFi, MiFi, and most of your telephone companies will have a little mobile MiFi that you can pay for and hook. That way you're not hooking into a hotel or a public area. And we travel with that little MiFi all the time. And do we pay a little bit per day for every little app we use? Yes. But the comfort of knowing that we're still going into our, our mobile company, it's a comfort.
Oh, see, that's wonderful. And I totally forgot. So I'm on the road doing business all the time. And, Germany, I have my own Wi-Fi, my own little hotspot. And so all of the folks that travel with me, and I see several of you here, some of you are coming with me in the fall. When you're with me, I have Wi-Fi in the car, in the van. And so if you don't want to use the Wi-Fi there at the hotel, if you've got to do a transaction, I have a secure Wi-Fi that I carry with me. In the USA, I have one, and in Europe. And we have that plugged in and it's going with us in the car. So a lot of times that's one of the easier things, because nowadays you're really scared about being on another system. But I like this. I'm going to check out MiFi. I'm going to look at that.
It's the same as what type thing that you're talking about, though.
Like a hotspot.
There you go. Your own personal hotspot versus using the
But I'm going to see it so I can compare the prices and stuff. See, because somebody might want to go get one.
Yeah, sounds great. And I think Owita was on. I think she is on now, because I think, wasn't that her picture on one of those in the beginning?
Yes, that was my first recon trip that I did to Europe. Miss Owita celebrated her birthday with me. And she helped me test out a lot of these things. Good to see you. And I see lots of other folks that are coming with me this fall. So Miss Lib, she's going to have her crew with me. They're coming September. And then I've got another set of folks, and they're going to come with me right afterwards. I've got 2 trips, one after the other. Miss Emily's celebrating her birthday, so her crew's coming with me. Oh, I see. Oh, Naomi put a good thing up here for me, and she said that if you want a personal coach or tutor to learn how to speak Spanish before you travel, oh, you can email lingobitslearning@gmail.com, and she can get you prepped before your next trip.
That is correct. This is, look,
Okay, so if you
this
look
is
at
my
the
chart
chat,
right
she
here.
put that
Yeah.
in your chat.
So I just finished the class tonight. So I lived in
Oh,
Mexico.
see, so Naomi's on, and she can help you with the Spanish portion.
Claro que sí. Sí.
See,
And I hope to be traveling to Spain. How do we get the details about the fall trip that is coming?
Oh, well, we'll put your email here in the chat, and what I'll do, I'll put you on our mailing list. I usually put out a newsletter once a month or every other month. It's kind of been hard lately. And then when I do the travel talk Tuesdays, I'll put down all the other times we'll have free recordings, the recordings on there. And so you can see those as well when we do those. So that's an easy way to do that.
Fantastic. Muy bien.
Are you going to share with us what these trips are?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to find out. That's what I was asking. Yeah.
So, so what we're going to do on the trips, we have, let's see, September 28th, I think Miss Lib's folks, and Miss Lib came in 2019 with the huge Delta group that came over for the 40th reunion to Germany. But Miss Lib is bringing some of her friends and family. September 28th, they're coming down, and we're doing Stuttgart. We're going down over to Heidelberg. We're going down to Munich. We're going over to Innsbruck to do Swarovski. Of course, we'll stop by Dachau and the Linderhof Castle. Stop by BMW and
Okay, stop. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't
W.
wanna hear
See, and the birthday folks, Miss Emily, she wants to go to all her stomping grounds. So Miss Emily comes in, Miss Lib's group leaves out the 6th and the 7th, the next group comes in.
Oh, wow.
And Miss Emily will be going to Stuttgart, to Heidelberg, to Nuremberg, to Prague.
Emily that I know?
Yes, Miss Gordine from Heidelberg Castle. So she's bringing some of her folks. And then I have my Bermuda group.
Ooh.
So I've got ladies that heard I was going to be there. And one of their friends said, hey, can you take them with you to Prague? So we've got four Bermuda ladies coming, and they're just going to meet us there, and they're going to do Prague with us. But of course, Miss Joyce, you know, it's fest time.
I know,
So,
I'm jealous. I am so
The
jealous.
Folks Fest starts September 22nd to October 8th. So all of our groups, we're going to the Folks Fest, which is like the Oktoberfest in Stuttgart.
Hey, Liv, I am so jealous. I am so jealous.
I know my friends are, they can't wait. And Juanita, they're a little bit better than the last time. I haven't had to do everything this time, but at least I'm retired. So if I had to, it wouldn't be a bit of headache as it was the last time.
See?
Yeah.
Oh, but you were brave. Folks, let me tell you, I just put everything together, flights and train and oh my goodness. Miss Lib took them from Paris to Berlin to Prague to Germany. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. And
Oh my
you know,
God.
that is a difficult job. And then they all depend on you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it
Juanita.
was fun. And they thought I knew what I was doing.
Juanita, is there an app that talks about visa requirements?
you know, the state.gov has that in there. Yes.
Okay.
So if you get the state.gov, it's got a lot of the visa. And while you're talking about the visa, there is a new requirement starting next year going into Europe. And the ETSA, it's almost like a visa, but I think it's like $7. But you have to fill out the information ahead of time. So it's almost like getting a visa, like you're going to India. Now, if you do a visa, like in some of these countries, oh my gosh, that visa could be, take you months. You have to do it a month before. It could take you forever to get it done. But this one for Europe, it's pretty much, when are you coming? Where are you going? Where are you staying? And they want to know who's coming in and who's going out. And it's almost like a border control kind of a thing. But they're going to start doing that right before you go and to Europe. So you can't just fly into Germany without filling this thing in or paying the $7, or Amsterdam or Munich or any of those. But it will begin next year. And the same thing for when folks are coming, to the United States. The other countries, a lot of them did not need visas or things, but now there's a bigger requirement.
Juanita, what about the luggage? We have, I know we have to pay for our check bags. Is that correct? Okay, I told them they have to pay for their
Yes,
check
it depends on your, it depends on your ticket. The airlines now are getting really, they don't like to give you anything free, and so if you don't have extra miles, or if you don't have frequent flyer miles, whether it's United, Delta, whoever, make sure sign up for those frequent flyer miles, because they'll give you some of those perks, like one free extra piece of luggage. Some of them will not.
Okay.
They'll give you a cheaper ticket and have you pay for the luggage. So yes, if your ticket says there's no luggage included, pay for the luggage at check-in. Don't wait till you get to the airport. At the airport, it's going to be more. So on your app when you're checking in, or on your computer when you're checking in, so a piece of luggage might cost you $35. It may cost you $50 depending on the airline. And if you have oversized bags, so if you're going skiing and you've got a big ski bag, or if you're going golfing, they will charge you extra for that bag. Sometimes it's $100, but it's still cheaper than if you have to ship it, like with FedEx or UPS or something. So it's still cheaper to take it with you there in the plane with you. Good questions. Anybody else?
Oh, I have one, which isn't more about this trip. It's more about going to the Vocal Fest. Is that how you say it? On that Saturday?
Yes. Yes.
On that Saturday. I haven't talked to Jennifer and PJ yet, but I was going to see if they could come over and meet us there. And I was going to ask, how much more would it be, the tickets for them to get into our VIP?
I'll send you that info. I'll send that to you. So, and some details so they can meet us there and stuff.
Okay. Because
I'll send that to you so that they're aware.
Yeah, because I was going to tell them, if they would come and meet my friends and family that's coming over, because he knows Janice and Sally and everybody, and they just haven't seen them in years. So I thought that would be a good time. Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna get you in there, and I'll send that to you. And I'll and all of you that are coming with us soon, and even those in the future. Usually I try to zoom in with folks, but you'll start getting some emails with little tips and tricks and things. How to tip. Some of the German words or some of the European words you need to start practicing. And some of the little things that you don't think about and you may want to get ready for ahead of time, so that you get used to the culture of where you're going, and that you're not caught off guard. Every time I go to an American restaurant, it says, oh, the gratuity is already there since you're 8 or more. Oh, what? Okay, you already charged me 18%.
Yeah.
And just
or
because,
like 20.
because we're 8. Yeah. And some of them shame you into tipping. If I'm going to get coffee, Well, to me, I'm getting coffee. I'm paying for it. I'm picking it up at the end of the counter. I'm not sure if I need a tip unless you did something extra for me or you brought it to me or I don't know. Tipping to me, it's a service. Have you done a service? So that's a whole different topic. Oh, bye. So I better leave it at that before I get myself in trouble. And you know,
Okay.
every country is different. And you know, I feel for the service people. They don't get enough pay. I would say
Mhm.
regular pay. And so it's sad that the traveler has to compensate and make up for what they don't get. So don't forget about those folks. Yeah, you know, the maid that comes in and, you know, cleans up after you, you know, the folks that carried your luggage in or got you on the train or off the train, or the people that waited for you because, you know, something happened. And so a lot of times we have to be aware, you know, a little service. And sometimes it just makes you feel so much better when you got somebody taking care of you while you're out on the road. You never know when you'll see those people again or what kind of service, you know, may be available to you. So utilize that. So with that, oh, I went for my time. God, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'm getting ready to turn off the recorder. And I want to thank you for coming in, Travel Talk Tuesday. Some of the things to look forward to, please give me any suggestions of topics. I can bring folks in. I'm looking forward. Soon we're going to have one of the Christian travel companies come in. And so we're going to hopefully have somebody come in and talk to us going to Israel and Jordan next year. And so hopefully we'll have them, because, you know, if I'm not the subject matter expert, I want to get somebody in here that's going to give us this is what we can do. This is what to look forward to before we book it. And I've been trying to test out some of the different companies and things. So any tips you have and what subject matter, please email it to me. Give me some info and some FYI. If you got a point of contact, I'd really appreciate it. So you can stay on, but I want to sign off. This is Juanita Harvin at EurWay.Tours. We're out on the internet. We're out on Facebook. We're on Instagram, and we appreciate you joining us.